After having gone through all the Souls games, and since Elden Ring is so close to release, I thought why not talk about this series in one final video. Because I made videos on them, I was forced to clearly sort out what I like about them and what not so much. And well, one of the sad realizations I've come to is that we'll never get Dark Souls 1 2.0. DS1 is my favorite game by far and I was constantly looking for its successor, but none of the other games really even tried to be that. The further the series progressed, the more it focuses on combat, which is one of its weakest points. Dark Souls 1 shines with its fantastic world. Till this day, it's the best designed video game world. I will die on that hill. Everybody constantly cooms over the satisfying feeling of overcoming a tough boss. And I get that, but I coom over moments like this. Even though I played this game as a teenager, my mind got blown when I rode down the elevator and ended up in Firelink Shrine. It's not just the interconnectivity of the world, the areas in a vacuum are also miles better than the ones from the other games. Let's be honest, all the areas in Bloodborne and Dark Souls 3 feel the same. It's always choose left or right, but it doesn't matter, either it's a circle anyways or a dead end which rewards you with a shitty item. In Dark Souls 1 most of the areas just have so much life. Sense Fortress, New Londo, Anno Londo, Duke's Archives, they all have cool creative ideas and yeah, they may not always hit, but I take that over fucking Swamp version 37. Dark Souls 1 also has the most beloved lore and I'm with the majority on that. I love the way the Souls games handle lore. On my recent run of Sekiro I was fucking dumbfounded at one spot. After you defeat Genichiro for the first time, you talk to Emma and Kuro for straight up 10 minutes. What the fuck? I thought I'm playing a parody of a Souls game. Look at this shit. He just won't shut up. Elden Ring seems to have returned to the superior way of storytelling, thank god. But back on topic. DS1 lore is the only one that managed to catch me. As I was writing the scripts for the videos, I thought about why that is. The conclusion I've arrived at is the opening cinematic. It's by far the best one. The world gets set up beautifully. And well, we all like to see ourselves as intellectuals who appreciate subtlety and stuff, but hey, seeing some guy shoot lightning and fire at dragons is pretty cool. Sekiro and Bloodborne failed to catch me with the openings completely and I just didn't even bother with the lore in those games from that point on. I will stay open-minded regarding Elden Ring, but I'm not gonna force myself to read item descriptions when I don't care. But of course, Dark Souls 1 is far from perfect. The shields are insanely overpowered and make the game actively worse. Many of the bosses just boil down to random demon without lore, and of course the elephant in the room is the second half. Yeah, it's a huge quality drop, no question. I can't really defend that. I can only state that for me it's still a fantastic second half, built with awesome ideas, areas and lore. Dark Souls 2 is the black sheep and this time I'm not gonna be the edgy contrarian, because I would have to lie, this game has so many problems. For the sake of the video length I have to limit myself, but hey, what's up with all the negativity? Let's start off with what the game does well. The replayability is nice, like enemy placements change on NG+. Oh yeah, the second DLC is great. The Broom Tower is really well designed. Alona and Fume Knight can keep up with the quality of Artorias. Yeah, I can't think of much more. So what are the problems? The healing system is okay, stop. Let's focus on the three biggest flaws in my eyes. First up, you can teleport right from the get-go. This is a huge mistake and this one thing damaged every single Souls game that's gonna follow. Elden Ring as well. The only positive it adds is comfort, and in my eyes that isn't worth jack shit. The consequence of teleporting is that areas get less effort put into them. Ask yourself the following. Would the first half of Dark Souls 1 be as well designed if you could teleport from the start? No, that's not an opinion, it's a fact. In Dark Souls 2 you have so many filler paths with zero effort, because you only run through them once. After that you teleport to your destination. Why put in effort? It would be a waste of time and money. Second problem is the game feel. Dark Souls 1 feels slow and weighty. Bloodborne feels fast and aggressive. Dark Souls 2, the game in between, feels like fucking garbage. It's hard to convey in words, but you know what I'm talking about. It feels like a $15 early access Souls-like. The final flaw is the healing system. The Estus system from DS1 was perfect, as long as you ignore the Rite of Kindling. So what does DS2 do? Let's just add the terrible Demon Souls healing on top of the Estus. Do I need to say something? I wonder, where could be the problem? Dear Elden Ring, just ignore Dark Souls 2. Don't take anything from it. Bloodborne, everybody loves it. I like it. The setting is great, Lovecraft stuff was always awesome. It's the video game with the best enemy design, period. It also really fits my playstyle. I prefer running in aggressively and this game rewards it to an extent. Bloodborne has the perfect amount of RPG elements as well. I don't care about having a million armor sets or stat screens that look like this. Just give me a weapon and a dodge button, that's all I need. The NPC quests are at their peak in this game. All the guys that can end up at the Cathedral Ward are super super interesting either through lore or gameplay. That all sounds great, so where's the problem? Well, what I value the most in these games. The main game bosses are trash. They're easy and super generic. Dark Souls 1 bosses also weren't exactly challenging, but at least they're creative. What does the Bloodstuff Beast have? Or Gascoigne? Or the Shadows of Yharnam? And the only creative boss is Mikolash. Seeing how Dark Souls 3 absorbed some of Bloodborne's speed, I'm sure Elden Ring will do the same. What else does Dark Souls 3 do well? The bosses are pretty awesome, with a few exceptions. Of course, you could have the discussion about the lack of creativity, but I'll pass on that this time. But this is where the game's strengths kinda end? The core combat is the best of the series, definitely. But I don't really care about that, because even peak Dark Souls combat isn't that great. If I want to experience pure combat, I'll play DMC. You can't compare them of course, but Dark Souls 3 kinda provokes that. The strength of Dark Souls combat is everything surrounding the player versus enemy experience. For example, you could line up enemies in a tight corridor and kill several of them with one stab. In Bloodborne, the giant frenzy brain can also damage the enemy, which you can use to your advantage. DMC is the king of battle rooms. There's no reason to try to compete with that, but because DS3 focuses so much on combat, everything else is pretty weak. Besides the archives, all the areas suck, the NPCs are boring, and no amount of meta commentary can excuse that. So I don't think I need to point out what Elden Ring should take from this game. Sekiro is a tough one, because it's pretty similar to DS3. The focus is on combat, but because it's a new combat system, it's less refined. The tools and special attacks are undeveloped to no end, just too gimmicky. 95% of the game consists of pressing R1 3 times and then pressing L1 3 times. On top of that, I despise stealth. Unfortunately, Elden Ring has that as well, so I can only hope it's less relevant. Like I mentioned earlier, I also hate how this game handles story. When I start a new game, I always have to make the choice whether I skip cutscenes or not, so I was really glad that the Souls games took that choice from me. But then came Sekiro and bombards me with 10-minute exposition dumps. On the positive side is the game's mobility. The constant running because of the non-existent stamina bar is nice, but that might be a me thing since I imagine the average player does stealth around, meanwhile I just sonic through the entire game. What everyone experiences though is the grappling hook. It's simple but works and adds a nice amount of verticality. I imagine that Elden Ring's version of that is the horse. I also feel like this game has the best difficulty level. Yeah, owl one-shotting you might be a bit much, but better than Bloodborne where 90% of the enemies feel like punching bags. Regardless of how Elden Ring will turn out, I'm sure it's gonna be a nice addition to Miyazaki's legacy. Despite the shallow similarities, all the Souls games feel incredibly different and I value that more than a game that specifically appeals to me. But I've gotta be honest, I'm a bit skeptical since the setting is very Dark Souls. It feels like Miyazaki just wanted to get rid of the baggage that comes with the Dark Souls name. Whatever, it's gonna be awesome anyways. Game of the Year is safe, unless Yoko Taro surprises us, but that's some copium overdose.